I think it's special in all those ways that people find coffee special or people find whiskey special. It's a marriage of nature and humans and nurture.
Tea is a big deal, but not just in Taiwan. Starting in the late 19th century and early 20th century, Taiwan's tea was so acclaimed that it was exported all over the world. This led to the creation of varieties like the Formosa oolong tea.
It started from John Dodd in the 1860s. He went to Taiwan, essentially developed a commercial tea producing industry. Like think about that is very much heritage of this era.
Elena is a co-owner of Tea Company in New York City, a small boutique shop that specializes in selling Taiwanese tea.
He bought land in Taiwan, made teas out of Taiwan, and producing teas that he was going to export directly from Taiwan to New York, to the UK, or England. And so John Dodd kind of used the marketing phrase Formosa oolong as a kind of style that's a differentiator. He and I could probably be friends. Like we could probably get along, like let's try to sell tea out of Taiwan. Maybe like a marketing thing or whatever, just to differentiate themselves in the type of tea that's coming from Taiwan. So that was the name of Formosa oolong. Today, I think if you go to some old school tea shops, you might still see the name Formosa oolong.
In the past, Elena would visit Taiwan to find new teas for her customers. However, due to COVID, she hasn't been able to make that trip until this year. We came along as she searched for more items to add to her catalog. The focus this time, organic tea. Why the push for looking at organic tea?
It's the right thing to do, but it's hard to do. Going from, like we were just talking about, the conversion period between conventional farming to organic farming is 3 years. And so in those 3 years, the harvest gets eaten by bugs, all of it. So you go from selling your lot to having nothing to sell. And so this organization facilitates that transition period so then they have something to sell, so they can continue making things, converting to fully organic.
While Elena ran a tea shop in New York, James here has one in Taipei. He was a former history teacher who took an interest in tea. For him, Taiwanese tea starts from memories of his grandparents.
通常是阿公阿妈带大，我印象真的很深，他们就在看相扑，我在旁边坐着就是吃饼干，然后在看相扑，然后就是喝茶。那从那时候开始就觉得说，哦，下午一定要吃饼干配茶。
Tea is inextricably tied to Taiwan's culture, but Taiwan's tea is under threat. While Taiwan's mountains are perfect for growing delicious tea, it's also the industry's biggest challenge. With tea plants growing on mountainsides, each tea leaf has to be hand-plucked. As an island, and smaller than places like India and China, tea production in Taiwan is relatively limited, leading to higher prices and even some low-quality teas being passed off as premium varieties.
早期台湾在出口，当然一定品质不会到太差，但是随着它的量越来越大的时候，那台湾其实就是这么大。所以才像你刚刚讲的，为什么会有一些比较劣质的茶叶出现
With government regulations and crackdowns, counterfeit Taiwanese teas has largely disappeared. This means tea lovers are getting the real thing when they buy Taiwan's tea products. And they're getting more than just a high-quality beverage.
You're combining a nature, a product of nature, into something that you like, and you're applying your cultural heritage to make that something into unique, different things of different parts of the world. So everyone makes teas differently. In Japan, they do it differently. In China and Taiwan, and it's such a, I would say, it's like a edible or drinkable heritage products that you can have, and they tell a story about where it was made. It tells a story about its people and the terroir, like where it's grown. Coffee, whiskey, tea, it's the same thing. It's always it's a study, a reflection of that heritage, of that community. And the community people are the most interesting things in the world. So this is a poster very famous poster that you could probably find in Taiwan in Dadaochen. Obviously, it's not going to have my face on it. It has slightly different background, but it was sort of like we did it really as a joke, because it's a famous poster, and this is how they used to market, or this is their marketing poster.